Hey guys, what is up? What is up? I'm gonna give it some time, get everybody in the room real quick. Hey everyone, welcome to Think Different TV. I am your host, LaShia. Hi everyone. Hi Melita. Thank you for joining in tonight. Oh, that's my birthday twin, man. She's always on here showing her support, so I love her so much. Hey girl. She also has this amazing Monday. If you can put it in the chat, it's like this amazing motivational Monday thing that she does on YouTube. She has her own channel. And I'm telling you, when she spits some scriptures and she tells you that she gets these visions and these signs, oh my goodness. It's like you start seeing that people have that gift, and when they want to share it, it's just an amazing thing. So make sure y'all go check out her YouTube channel. I will be putting it's Miracle Monday. There you go. YouTube name Melita McKeithen, right? I hope I'm saying it right. But she put it in the chat, so check her out. You know I gotta support my birthday twin. Even if she was my birthday twin, just supporting another queen doing her thing, putting the message out there, because you know sometimes people need to hear that word. Okay, some people need to hear that word. Who else we got in the oh, hi Savory Bless, thank you for joining in tonight. We got a really great topic tonight, guys. So I just want to get everybody in the room. Once again, this is Think Different TV. I am your host, LaShia. Okay, and without my sponsors, I could not give you this content, this show. So I got to shout out my sponsors real quick. Number one, you got Anointed Ads, award-winning graphic design website company, 14 years in the making, over 100 websites created. I'm telling you, you know an Anointed Ad because it has those eye-catching designs. The guy Phil, who is the CEO of Anointed Ads, he is the one that created the flyer for my show that I keep putting out there. He's also done flyers for me in the past for my financial business. So he's just amazing. All right. So I'm telling you. Also, black-owned business. The black-owned business. Like, get out here and support these black-owned businesses. He is amazing at what he does. He takes his time. But he also delivers your project in a timely manner. And when I say he takes his time, he makes sure that everything is every I is dotted, every T is crossed. He makes sure he does a great job for you. So make sure y'all go and check out Anointed Ads right here on IG, ANOINTEDADS. You can check out his website, www.anointedads.com, to check out some of his work. You can also like him on Facebook at Anointed Ads. Okay? So he is just all over the place. And when you're ready to get your product started, listen, call him at 609-534-0237. And if you mention Think Different TV, when you mention Think Different TV, because I have no doubt that you're going to go and check him out. When you mention Think Different TV, you get 15% off. Okay? So that is a big thing. Also, my other sponsor is Euphoria Water, the cleanest, healthiest water in Philly. All right? Alkaline water with minerals, no chemicals, no additives. Medical grade water, okay? Like, if you're going to hydrate the right way. You want to make sure you always are hydrating yourself. But a lot of times, the worst water comes in the best bottles. Just remember that. So, you see a little fancy water bottle, chances are the water inside is not all it's cracked up to be. And I know I have my Euphoria water tonight in my glass, as usual, toasting it up. You know, some people, they do their podcasts and their lives with a glass of wine. I have my water. It has yet been turned into wine. I'm still waiting on that. But this will do just as well because it's so refreshing. It really goes through my body, and my body is like, thank you for hydrating me, thank you for giving me what I need. And that is exactly what this water is. It's amazing. When you're ready to put in your order for Euphoria water, you can check out Euphoria water right here on IG. That's UPHORIAWATER. Or you can call Captain at 267-707-8279 and put in your order today. All right. Also, shout outs to my hairstylist, Scandalous Vibe, aka my sister. She hooked the sister up. All right. You see how neat, nice and neat that is. You see how clean that is. You see how look at the part. Let me tell you. She did an amazing job. And guess what? Her birthday is tomorrow. Yes. So shout out to my sister Sierra. Happy birthday, boo. I'm so proud of you. So proud of your accomplishments, what you've been doing. You're amazing, amazing, amazing. Scandalous Vibe is her company. She sells candles, diffusers, room mists, all of that. She makes them with love. Check out my sister, okay? And she's amazing. You know, we from the same family, so you know. Amazing just runs in the family. Ooh. So I wanted to make sure I shout out my sister real quick. Birthday's tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm like, today is just a good day. Today is 411. So what's the 411, y'all? What's the 411? How's everybody feeling tonight? How are y'all doing? Hey, DNA Island, that's my bro. What's up? Thank you for joining tonight. I got D Newman on here. Thank you for joining in and tuning in. Love you too, Melita. This is gonna be a very interesting topic to tackle tonight. I have a lot that I want to put out there. The topic is marriage. Is it necessary or not? Okay, so get y'all responses ready, because I will be taking people if they want to request to be on, so they can, say their point of view without any judgment. Of course, we don't judge anybody. It's called Think Different TV for a reason. Everybody is thinking differently. Everybody doesn't think the same. And that's what makes this such a beautiful world, because if everybody thought the same, then this world would be freaking boring. Hey, Mr. Smith, how are you? Thank you for joining in tonight. Hey, J Fresh, what's up? What's up? What's up? Thank you for coming into the live. Hey, treating you sweet, fella heart. Oh my goodness. Yes, let's do this, y'all. I'm so excited. This topic is going to be off the chain. I'm interested to know where everybody is coming from. I have my own, my own point of view, but I'm going to reserve that. I'm going to go through the meaning of marriage, the pros and cons of marriage, and also talk about if it's necessary or not. All right. With changing times comes changing views and changing everything. Everything's changing, right? I also have an amazing guest coming on tonight for my independent artist spotlight. I am DJ Chemo. All right. And my financial tip is going to be about budgeting. So just, have your pens and papers ready to take down some notes. It's going to be real quick, real fast. So you got to catch it when you catch it. All right. So listen, y'all. I have been watching Bridgerton. Let me tell you, that show off the hook. Okay? Okay? That show off the hook. All right? And just in my own personal conversations, I started really thinking about the topic. Is marriage even necessary nowadays? Because in Bridgerton days, and I'm not going to go into the actual plot of the show. I'm just going to tell you about how their whole thing works out. This is set like in the early 1800s. So back then, they did not play when it came to marriage. They were very serious about marriage, traditional marriages, traditional weddings. It was customary to marry a virgin. Those were the diamonds. There was only one diamond on the show, but all of the girls that were up to be married were virgins. If it was found out that they were not virgins, and they would be considered ruined, and it would be hard to marry them off. And usually what would happen is that they wouldn't get like the most desirable bachelors. They would get like the old guy that's just looking for a wife, to pass off his final days or whatever. Or his swimmers are still swimming and and he wants to create an heir for his for what he got going on. What's up, Carson, California? What network is on Netflix? Bridgerton is on Netflix. So they got 2 seasons. I'm really hopeful there's going to be a third. But the way that they did marriage back then, they used to take it very seriously. They used to have promenades, and and they were like, shall we promenade? And they would have these girls, real proper dressed, and they wasn't showing off anything. They was coming in there, and what attracted men to them is that maybe they have an affluent family, they're very beautiful, they're very smart, and the icing on the cake was the daggone being a virgin. You would be a virgin. It's like, oh, I'm trying to get that, and so they took marriage very, very seriously. What I'm seeing is that over time, marriage has become null and void as far as it being necessary for certain things. Now, back then, they used to have it so that once you get married, on Bridgerton, it was like the girl has a dowry, and the man receives the dowry upon marriage. And if there was no dowry, it would be delayed. The marriage would be delayed, or they just wouldn't marry the girl, because the dowry is supposed to set them up to start their lives together. And a lot of times, men wanted women that they can mold to be the perfect wife, the perfect mother to their kids, that would just be the runner of the household. And that's because back then, men weren't living past a certain age. They was getting sick. They was going off to war. They were dying. So it was very important to put somebody in charge of their property, in charge of their estate, that had somewhat of a mind in their head, and they knew how to do things properly, and that they had their head on right, their mind straight, What's up, Jackson? Rental Homes, how are you? Thank you for joining in. So it was a lot of things that came with that. Now, in today's world, there is no dowry, there is no promenades, there's bars. There's bars, and there's other things that you can meet. There's Christian mingle. There's all these different dating websites that you could possibly find your future mate on. But there's no promenade, none of that stuff. And to find a virgin nowadays is like finding a needle in a haystack. For like they would have to just start a group and and just let it know like we're virgins, but not a lot of people are putting it out there like we're virgins, So let's get into this, shall we? All right. I just wanted to start it off talking about Bridgerton, because that's a good gateway into talking about the topic tonight, which is marriage, is it necessary or not? So let me get a swig of my water real quick. Euphoria water, that is. All right. And so, marriage. What is marriage, right? The legally or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship. Originally, it was between a man and a woman. But as y'all know, over the years, they passed a law where it was acceptable for same-sex marriages. So it's legal. Same-sex marriages are now legal. I don't know if they're legal in all of the states, but I know that they have made it legal. Hey, Molly Mo. Thank you for joining in tonight. So traditionally, it is between a man and a woman, right? So when they say legally, I automatically think contract. I think this is a binding contract in the eyes of the state to say, I am joined with this person, right? Now, the pros: increased level of security. So that may mean that, when you're by yourself, it might be hard for you to maintain a financial home. But when you have a partner to do it with, now you have somebody else there to kind of help with the financial home. So that's a plus. It's socially accepted. So when someone gets married, everybody's like, oh, snap, you're married. That's what's up. That, right? You can build wealth together, which is very true. You get with somebody that is on the same mindset you are as far as building wealth, and y'all can build wealth together. It's good to do it by yourself, but it's even better to join forces with someone and build that wealth together. Can support each other in difficult situations in life. That's very true. Sometimes our spouse is the person that's going to get us through those tough losses, those hard times. And a spouse is better to have in some cases than a lot of cases, but there are cons to that too. So hold on. Necessary in many cultures. So there's still cultures where they arrange marriages. And the reason why they do that is all about keeping the bloodline strong, keeping everything strong within that structure. And when they plan out the marriage, when they arrange the marriage, that's what I want to say. Hey, Mr. King, how are you? Thank you for joining in. When they arrange the marriage, right? The parents, when they arrange the marriage, they're looking at certain things about the other family, and it's mutual. They're both looking for, I'm an affluent family. I have an affluent family. You have an affluent family. I have a daughter. You have a son. Let's make this happen. You get what I'm saying? It makes sense. Because, you want your grandchildren, you want your generations and generations, you want your legacy to be of good stock. Right? So that's why a lot of them take in arranged marriages, because it's preserving their legacy. Now, maybe better to sustain relationship. Maybe better able to sustain a relationship. So being boyfriend and girlfriend, you break up, make up, break up, make up. But with marriages, you can't just break up, make up, break up, make up. You got you might be able to be separated, but that contract, it has to be broken through the state. You get what I'm saying? Tax advantages related to marriage. Family connects can help career. I don't know. I don't know about that too much. May contribute to a stable family. It could not. Like I said, definitely is cons that I'm going to follow this up with. So, and then religious reasons why people get married. They say it's a pro, but I take it much more like it's a reason, not necessarily a pro. What's up, AC? Got it? How are you? Thank you for joining in to my live tonight. and may protect you from being lonely. I don't know. I don't know. Some of these pros. Now, my pro to marriage, which was not even mentioned, which is kind of crazy. I mean, they said kind of, sort of, they touched on it. So, here's the thing. Like I said, it's contract, right? So, one big pro to being married is the end game. Okay? Also, all of the benefits that you get while you're alive. Case in point, man and woman get married. Man has this awesome banging behind job. He can put his wife on his health insurance. Right? When he passes away, or when she passes away, the spouse has say in everything. They're married, so that's the first line of defense. Barring that the other spouse did not already pass on. If the man passes on, the woman is left behind, she's take care of all of the financial arrangements. She has that right and that say so. Nobody can just come in and muscle their way in. Family members, they can't be like, oh, well, no, his final thing was this and this, that, and the third. No. If they are legally married, nobody can come in between that union and try to barge their way into the final arrangements of what needs to go on. I find that to be a big plus, because who better to know your final wishes than your spouse, right? Now, there's times when that could be turned against you, but I'm trying to have positive vibes only tonight, y'all. But I know there's some cases where somebody might still be married to somebody and they're separated, but they're not married. I mean, they're separated, but they're still married. So that contract is still legally binding. And because I remember watching the case on Judge Judy. Y'all know I'm going to talk about Judge Judy on here sometime or another. But she always says there is no court for almost marrieds. There's courts for people who are married, but there's no courts for people who are almost married. And it was this one case where this mom, this guy passed on, and his mom brought his wife to court. Now, the wife, like, he passed away before they could, like, officially get, like, a divorce. You get what I'm saying? So they didn't get a divorce, so they were still legally married. And she was in charge of all of his affairs. Now, when it came down to it, there was 2 life insurance policies. One was $250,000. So kudos to the man, because he put all this stuff in place, because that is what's up, right? So it was $250,000 that was left to the mom. All right. What's up, young and gifted Marlo? Thank you for coming in tonight and tuning into my live. So the mother got $250,000, right? So why is she bringing the wife on here to sue her? And the wife, she got $750,000. Hey, Chad Anthony, thank you for joining in tonight. So the mom brought her daughter-in-law on the show because she was suing her because his final arrangements, like his funeral, because the wife was in charge of everything and she was supposed to be the one to pay for everything and whatnot like that. She was like, well, she's supposed to pay for the funeral. But then the mom was also trying to get her and she's supposed to pay for me and my son coming down there to the funeral. And I was like, chick, what is wrong with you? Like, where they do that at? You know, you are responsible for, you got $250,000. You mean you couldn't afford that plane ride to go bury your son? Like, what are you talking about? So, she won because the mom put up the money for the funeral, and the wife just had to pay her back the money that she paid for the funeral. But she wasn't awarded the money for traveling out there and, you know, burying her son. Like, she wasn't awarded that money. But it's crazy because, like I said, when that contract is binding, so they wasn't even together, and she still was in charge of everything. What's up, M. Will? How are you? Thank you for joining my live. She was in charge of everything, taking care of everything. So there you go. I really think that when it comes to marriage, that's one pro to marriage that I can get on board with. Being able to get health insurance, being able to take care of your spouse's final arrangements, and quiet as it's kept, let's be all the way honest. Like, we know that they passed a law for there to be same-sex marriages, and they said, it was a lot of people saying, well, I've been with my significant other for years and years and years, and it will be nice to be able to declare my love in the eyes of God and all stuff. But let's keep it all the way funky. Y'all want them benefits. They wanted them benefits. They wanted the benefits that opposite sex marriages have, as far as the health insurance, being able to take care of the final expenses. Because, tell you the story, let's say Billy and Bob get married. I mean, Billy and Bob are not married. This is before they made it legal to get married, same-sex marriages. Billy and Bob are not married, but they've been together for a substantial period of time. They're together for like 20, 25 years, okay? So Billy and Bob, when they came out to their families both disowned them. Said, we want nothing to do with you. We wash our hands of you. Y'all go ahead, live your lives, do whatever y'all want to do, but y'all ain't coming over here with that, right? Which was the attitude for a lot of people back then. All right, and still of some people today. So Billy and Bob, they go off and they live their lives. Billy come into some money. He decides to invest into a business. They both running the business. Everything is going great. They still not married because it's not legal yet. So they running this business, and the business is going great. And I mean, they making buku dollars, okay? They ain't got a want for nothing, all right? Billy gets sick. He unfortunately does not write a will. He does have a life insurance policy that he takes out and has him down as a beneficiary, but that's all, right? That's all that Bob has coming to him is this life insurance policy. But as far as everything else, he has no say in it. Why? Because Billy didn't do a living will. So little plug real quick, if y'all gonna do things right, y'all better write out a will, because that makes all the difference sometimes. Especially if you're in a common law marriage. Make sure y'all put everything down how you want your arrangements to go. If you want your spouse to take care of them arrangements, put it in your will. Put all of that in your will. If you're not going to go and get married and have the paperwork to back it up. Because the only states that recognize common law marriage, and I looked it up, y'all. The only states that acknowledge it is Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Montana, New Hampshire, and that's for inheritance only. For New Hampshire, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, and District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. So they're the only places that recognize common law marriages. If you in any other state other than those states, then baby, get a will, and put everything down. If you're not going to, at least make that your final love letter to your loved one, and say, listen, I know we both agreed we weren't going to get married, we weren't going to get the marriage license and all that stuff. I'm letting you know that I love you very much, and I want you to be in charge of everything, and this is the blueprint of everything that I want to go down once I'm no longer here on this earth. Get that done. If you're not going to get married, get that done at least. So anyway, so Billy, he doesn't have a living will or nothing like that. He passes away unexpectedly, right? So I told you, he got money. He got all the money. All right. Bob know all he getting is the death benefit, because at least Billy did that much, right? But let's say that ain't even like a lot of money. And Carson, it has changed. So that 7-year stuff, it is a myth. It doesn't. If it's not a common law state, it is not recognized. So, so Bob, he gets he's the beneficiary for the money, but then all of a sudden, all these family members that was nowhere to be found, all them years that they was together, they swooping like vultures, and they're clawing their way to get to his money. And here's the crazy thing: now Billy was in a same-sex relationship, didn't have any kids. So the first thing that, if they have any money, the first thing that happens, if they have money and they have kids, it goes to the kids. If it don't go to kids, because if they're not married, then it goes to the kids. If they don't have any kids, it goes to their living parent, right? If their parent is not alive, it goes to the next of kin, which would be a sibling, right? So Bob, who's been by Billy's side all of these years, through everything, through tears and this and that and the third, Billy passes, and now all these people coming in and saying, no, he wanted to be buried here. No, he wanted to be this. He wanted to be cremated. He wanted to be this. He wanted to be that. He wanted to be that. They try to find a way to spend the less money on the funeral arrangements so they have more money coming to them. And then Bob is like, this is not what he wanted. This is not what he wanted at all. And they like, oh, well, because Bob, you have no say. Y'all were not married, and Billy did not do a will. So you're pretty much screwed. So that's when I say, all right, when they fought for the same-sex marriages, that's an instance where I can see somebody bringing up and saying, this is why we need to do this, because of situations like this. And I don't think it's right for people to just swoop in. What's up, Roar Digital Media? Thank you for joining in tonight. I don't think it's right, after you haven't been in his life all these years, to just swoop in and start, clawing at his money and doing all this crazy stuff and clawing at his estate. I don't think that's right. So I'm with them on that when it comes to the contract part. You get what I'm saying? I'm with them all the way. I understand where their line of thinking is coming from. To say, oh, I'm married, I want to marry my loved one, you could be with somebody for 25 years and love them. That, you don't need a piece of paper to love somebody. You don't need a piece of paper to love someone. All right? You don't need a piece of paper to tell the world that you love someone. If you love someone, you love someone, right? So for people to say, oh, marriage is for love, when they say I got married for love, I got married because I'm in love, I don't know. I just be looking at them like, you're foolish. Because when it gets down to the nuts and bolts of everything, because I think on my logical mind, it's okay to be in love with the person that you're marrying, but don't say that that's the reason why you're marrying them, because that's not always the reason why people get married. They're joining finances. They're joining all these things together. So yeah, you say you love someone and everything like that, but feelings change. Feelings change. Okay? Hey here, Abundance. Thank you for joining in tonight. So, let's get into these cons. So, the cons of marriage is, one, it limits the level of freedom. All right? No other partners allowed, but that's even tricky because, they're starting to have these like polygamy, and a man able to marry 2 wives and this and the third. Like, it used to be a thing called bigamy, but I don't know where it went because people are getting married to multiple people a lot. Might get trapped in an unhappy marriage. Hey, hi Tone, the artist. Thank you for joining in. Might get trapped in an unhappy marriage. Dependence on partner. Okay, so that's really dangerous because it's like, okay, sometimes it's good to be your own person within the marriage and just having a grasp of finances within the marriage by yourself, but with somebody else, because you don't want to be married to somebody and just kind of just depend on them to do everything. Because like when women say, oh, I'm gonna depend on this man to take care of me financially and all this stuff, like, we gotta be real. Like, what happens if he, the market takes a downturn or something happens and like the pandemic happened, then where will you be if you just depend on one income to run a household? Like, if you have the freedom, like, I truly believe this. If a man is out there and they're working, doing manual labor to earn a living, right? What's up, number 42? Thank you for joining in. If they're relying on manual labor to do their job, right? And you have the time to sit at home and be a housewife and everything like that, start a business. Sell something. Sell candles. Sell something. Have some type of other income coming into the house, because you don't have to use it to pay bills or anything like that. You can put it in a kitty for a rainy day. Or when something happens to your significant other, as far as like, let's say he gets hurt on the job. God forbid, you don't want that to happen, but let's say you get hurt on the job and then he's not able to earn a living. And then you're sitting up there like, well, he was supposed to be supporting me and this, that, and that. No, because sometimes it's too many ways to make money now that you don't have to necessarily go out and get a job. You can start your own home-based business and bring in some income so y'all don't ever be on the losing side of the battle. But I digress. Back to the list. All right. So, bad for one party in case of divorce. So, you don't sign that good old prenup, you're going to be up there pulling your hair out, because your wife is going to be like that lady that Eddie Murphy was talking about something she want half. I want half of everything. I want half of your drawers. That's what I want, half everything. Financial obligations, as far as after you get divorced, there's going to be financial obligations to the spouse, as far as spousal support, especially if you're the one that was doing most of the earning in the relationship, and that person now has to go off without you and build a whole life. Now you got to pay them spousal support so they can keep their head above water. Ain't that some stuff? And in most cases it is the man paying the woman. But recent revelations has been women paying to men. Mary J. Blige, Halle Berry, those situations, special situations. Attraction may suffer significantly over time. Divorce rates are high. In fact, it's still at 50%. 50% of all marriages in the U.S. end in divorce or separation. So, very high percentage of marriages ending. And there are different ways that people different reasons for divorce, like adultery, infidelity, communication is lacking, domestic violence, who wants to stay in a relationship where they're getting abused, abuse, substance abuse, incompatibility, irreconcilable differences, lack of commitment. When I see irreconcilable differences, I'm thinking financials. Like that's the first thing that comes to my mind, because lack of commitment, alcoholism, mental abuse. So those are reasons that people get divorced, but I know there's a few that are actually recognized. But then they also had this thing called no fault divorce, where it's like you just go to the court and you just be like, we don't feel like being married anymore. And they're like, oh, okay. And they just stamp it and just send you about your way. But I remember, like, I've read, and I also remember a point in time where getting divorced was very taboo. Like you worked it out. Like you tried to work it out. If the person wasn't beating on you and wasn't, you worked it out. But now people just be like, well, it's not working. I'm not compatible with this person anymore. I don't want to be married anymore. Let's get divorced. So that's a big con, because one of the cons is many people are quite naive regarding the concept of marriage. Like, when I think of marriage, I do think of the contract. I think of, all of the things that come with that. But also, you have to be your mate's biggest cheerleader. You have to be your mate's, you have to be there for your mate. When you're married, nobody outside of your home should be able to see that y'all have discourse within y'all marriage. This should be kept private. It should not be like, if you feel like you got to go to counseling, that's the only person y'all should be talking to outside of the marriage, because they can actually offer you ways to better your marriage. And some people don't have the best of intentions. When you tell them something's going on wrong in your marriage, they're getting in your ear talking something. Maybe you just need to leave. Maybe it's not working out. Maybe like they don't want to see you in that relationship, so they're going to give you all the reasons why you shouldn't be in that relationship anymore. So when they say people are quite naive regarding the concept of marriage, check that to Jada Pinkett Smith. Listen, I'm not gonna get into that tonight. Listen, y'all. They going in hard on her and Will right now. I'm just gonna leave that alone. But if you get married for the contract part solely, at least have respect for the person that you're going into the contract with. Okay, so let's say y'all not in love. Let's say this is strictly for a certain reason why y'all are getting married. In Bridgerton, it was a lot of people that was getting married, and it wasn't necessarily getting married because of love, but there was a respect that this is why we're getting married, and as long as I do my part and you do your part and no one breaches that contract, this can work. Okay, so if, like, back then they like, in our contract, you're going to cook and clean and be my wife and, be loyal to only me and birth my babies and this and the third. Sometimes in some clauses, it was crazy, because it was one guy, he put a clause in his, oh, the joys of living in North Philly, because your music does not have to be that loud, and it's not even good music. Anyway, it was like bass shaking my whole apartment. Like, what is you doing? Like, you're not even listening to nothing. But some guys, they put, one guy had put a clause in his contract, because listen, it's negotiable. When you up there, you about to get married, and marriage is a contract, you can put certain things in the contract, and if the person agrees, then the person agrees. Hey, T-Man Baller. So, like, let's say you decide you want to have in a clause, if my mate goes over this weight, Like, I have this weight threshold. If they go over this weight, I have the right to terminate this contract. Is it mean? I mean, it's mean, but I mean, it's a contract. You get what I'm saying? If the other partner agrees and they say, sure, yeah, I won't go over that weight, then that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? If they agree and they walk down the aisle, or they go and get that piece of paper and those were the provisions and terms that was set out prior to them even walking down the aisle, then so be it. That's their business, right? That's their contract. We can't pass judgment on people that have certain contracts about their thing. Like, if part of the contract is my man has to, like, he has to make a certain amount of money, you know, consistently. Hey, Kev, thank you for joining in tonight. If he goes below this threshold of funds, then I should be able to terminate the contract because he's breaching the contract. If he was making $100,000 every year, and then all of a sudden he decides, oh, well, I want to cut back my hours because I want to do more boating, or I want to go golfing or something like that, and you cutting it in half to $50,000, what are you doing? Like, and then the woman going to be like, hold up, that's not what I agreed to. And they should be able to get out of the contract, because if in the contract it states, if he goes below $100,000 a year, I can terminate the contract, then they should be able to terminate the contract. See, a lot of people keep interjecting themselves into other people's business. And that's why people feel like they can't do certain things in their relationship to make their relationship work. Because if it's not the traditional way of doing things and people start passing judgment, they start feeling like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I shouldn't put that in the contract. Like, if a dude met you and you was 150 pounds, and you know, and it has nothing to do with you being pregnant, and you gain weight, and he said if she goes above 250 pounds and you go above 250 pounds, and he like, I can't do that, he should have the right to be like, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore, regardless of how anybody feels about it, because now they had no fault divorce. You don't have to have a reason to go get divorced. You can just go up there, file the proper paperwork, explain to the person, listen, this is just gonna have to happen because you breached the contract. But like I said, it has to be a respect to with the person you had the contract with. So you can't be like, oh, well, I'm gonna because this is just a contract. This is just a marriage where it's just a contract thing that I'm gonna talk to them all in this type of way, or I'm gonna, you know, berate them, or I'm gonna treat them some type of way, or maybe in this contract it didn't say I had to be faithful because we had, I'm just gonna parade these men in and out his home, even though he's paying for everything for me. He said he'll take care of me as long as I, you know, take care of the home. But it didn't say nothing about me not cheating, so I'm just gonna bring all these random dudes up in the house and disrespect the person. Like, don't do that. Don't do that, because that just makes you look like a real skis. You know what I'm saying? So don't. So realizing it is a contract when you go into the marriage, still have respect for the other party in the contract, and also make your intentions and make your declarations clear. All right? What do you want out of the marriage? You should not be, because there is a lid for every pot. Okay? Don't say to a woman, oh, you're a gold digger, you're never going to find a husband, because there's a man out there that don't care. He wants to spend money on somebody, and he's looking for somebody he can spend money on. So don't ever say to somebody, oh, you're a gold digger, you're never going to find your husband, because there's a man out there for that. Don't say, oh, you're ruined, you have you've been ran through, you're not going to find a man. Maybe the man don't even care about all that. He just wants somebody he can have an insightful conversation with, and you're that person. That's what it is. Don't say to somebody that have kids, oh, you're never going to find your husband or wife because you have kids, because it's probably somebody out there that is feeling the same way. They have kids, and they're just looking for somebody that they can have play dates with and everything like that, and they can bring two households together, you don't know. So because there's a lid for every pot, you can't be up there talking about something. You ain't going to be able to find your husband, your spouse, or whatever because of that. All right. So I just wanted to put that out there because it's some people that's just a little too judgmental, and it be the folks that ain't even married. So shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Okay. What's another one? Divorce favors women. And I think Carson, California kind of touched on that because he was like, you know, there's no benefit. He's not getting married because there's no benefit for men. We can explore that. Okay, we can explore that. But yes, divorce in a lot of times favors women. And you introduce the state into your life. So when you get married, now the state is introduced into your life, into your household, to everything you have. So one big con that was not mentioned on this list is when a man or woman owes child support and they get married to somebody, that debt falls on that spouse as well. It does. Like they can't even, like where there's a tax benefit for married couples, in some cases married couples file separately because of debts, and they like, if I file this with my spouse and I have a debt, whether it be child support or a student loan or anything like that, that whole tax refund can be seized in that person's name to pay their debts off. And somebody that been working the whole year and they say, I'm gonna file my taxes, and oh, let's file married. Okay, no problem. And then they go and they say, well, my tax refund is supposed to be like $6,000. And then, you know, and then the other person's like, well, yeah, you know, with my added income, it's supposed to be like an extra $3,000. So you got $9,000 coming to you, but then not really, because one of them has a debt, whether it be the woman or the man, and the state be like, oh, somebody just filed under his name using his social security number, or under her name using her social security number, and they owe this debt over here. So we're gonna just take the whole $9,000, and you can't then say, oh well, we're married and I didn't, you know, majority of that is mine. I guess snake stuff because they knew they owed support. Yeah, and let me tell you something. And a lot of times, the significant other the spouse already knows that they do. Sometimes they just be so blinded by love, they don't consider the other stuff that can all come with their love. Okay. Now, I'm not against getting married for love. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think when two people are joined, not only through the contract, but through their hearts as well, I think that's a beautiful thing. But listen, y'all gotta know that there's other things that come with that contract that can't just be overlooked. And it can't be solved with love. Alright? I just told y'all about the taxes. People that be like, oh, I'm about to get this big amount on my taxes and stuff like that, and they marry, and then their husband like, yo, put me on your, you know, we can file together and this and the third, and the person knowing that they got all these debts, but they just like, you know what, it wouldn't make sense. We could just do one, and then we could send it in, and this and the third, because they lazy and they don't want to file more than one. So they're like, you know what? Let's do it together. And then next thing you know, all that money going. And you just wasted all that time filing your taxes to get nothing out of it. You worked all them hours, all that stuff, to not see any of that tax refund money. Now, for real, you should. It's an overpayment of, like, you're actually just getting your own money back. But that helps. Like in the beginning of the year, you pretty much go broke throughout the holidays, and then you get that tax break, and it's like, okay, I can handle the rest of the year. So a lot of people be looking forward to it, and when you with somebody that didn't take care of their financial responsibilities, and you notice, and then you put them on your taxes and file together, then they're gonna seize everything. I think that's the only case where that happens. I've seen cases where women, had their wages garnished because of the fact that their husband owed child support and stuff like that. But that's few and far between. What's up, Church for the Wicked? Thank you for joining in tonight. So when you introduce a state in life, that can make for a sticky situation. So then we're going to jump into the question of the night, which is marriage, is it necessary or not? And I think for a lot of reasons that I already previously discussed, it is necessary. But check this out. Pew Research. This is a website that I went on. And they said that fewer than 1 in 5 U.S. adults say being married is essential for a man or a woman to live a fulfilling life. They say it's important, but not essential. So let's explore that. So they say it's important because of the tax breaks. They didn't go into detail, but I can tell y'all why. Because the tax breaks, the benefits that you get, while your spouse is alive, the benefits you get when they are no longer here as a spouse. When you have that contract, when you have that marriage license, there's a lot of things a lot of doors that are open to you as the spouse to take care of all of that stuff. They say it's important but not essential. So do you need to get married? No. Nowadays, you're not looked down upon if you're not a married woman. Back then, they used to be like, you're not married? Oh my gosh, you must be a leper or something like that. Like they just made such a big deal out of it. But it's not the thing. They even got the song, single ladies, all my single ladies, all my single ladies. Like they celebrating. They celebrating all of the singledom. So there's not a cause that people jump like, oh, I gotta get married. Oh, I gotta get married. Like I have to be married by this age. I have to have kids by this age. There's no rushing on that because society has changed so much. Whereas back in the day, like on Bridgerton, in the past, even all the way up to probably like the 50s, it was like you was groomed. If you were a girl, you were groomed to be a wife and a mother. There was no, women should go to college and this and the third. It wasn't a lot of that. It was a lot of, you should be learning how to bake a cake, make a sandwich, shut your mouth, and have a lot of babies. Pretty much that, not in that order necessarily, but pretty much that. And now they're seeing, these women are independent. They can, they can vote. They can do all these different things. And, some women are just too busy to get married. They're too busy to meet their mate in order to establish that connection long enough to jump into a marriage. Now, crazy thing is, then you got people that's just crazy and just jumping into marriages after 2 weeks of knowing people and, because I'm in love. No, you're stupid. No, you're stupid. Now, y'all can feel some way about, listen, I think that is really foolish to jump into a relationship, get married after a short amount of time of knowing someone, okay? Because you really don't know what you're getting yourself into. And then people will be wondering, like, why am I at divorce court? Because maybe you married the guy 2 weeks after knowing them and you met him in a bar and he was sloppy drunk and y'all was all like making out and then decided 2 weeks later to get married and you're stupid. Like, That's why you're in divorce court. So, is it necessary or not? So, I'm going to open up the floor. It is now 10:00. So, I want to open the floor. Does anybody want to speak on this topic? Marriage, is it necessary or not? I'm going to just let you speak your piece. I am not going to respond as far as like argue back and forth, because your opinion and your view is your view and your opinion. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's entitled to have one. So let's have at it. Anybody want to jump on? Answer the question, marriage, is it necessary or not? I think I saw Melita earlier. She said that marriage is necessary. What are your reasons? Carson, California, I saw you said that you wasn't going to get married because there's no benefits for a man. Can you elaborate on that? Who else is on here right now that can speak on the topic? I see that Melita is still on. I see that BNA Island is still on, Molly Moss still on, Tone is still on. Y'all let me know what's going on, what's going through your mind. What do y'all have to say about this important topic? I think it's important because, you know, we're getting to a point now where a lot of these social topics are not being discussed, and it's really important to know somebody's intentions, because you might have somebody that really loves you, that wants to get married and everything like that, but if you have a different view and a different opinion about marriage, it's important to put that out on the table and let that person know, so they don't feel like they're wasting their time later on down the line. They don't feel like, oh, you know, I thought this was going to be a forever thing. I wanted to get married with you, but you definitely don't want to get married to me for whatever reason. And it could be the reason that they feel like it's a contract, and maybe they don't trust you enough yet to be the one to take care of their final expenses, or take care, or all of the things that come with being married. You know, a lot of, like, I don't, like, if a man go up and apologize, if a man go up and proposes to a woman, and the woman says no, she's within her right to do so. And people be like, oh man, he went through all the fanfare to go ahead and propose and do all this stuff and blah 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 blah, but you didn't even ask her what she wanted. Did she indeed want to get married? Probably not. She probably know about all your debts, and she thinking like, do I really want to be tied to this for the rest of my life? Not a lot of people would want to. It's necessary if you want to be married and have a family. But if you want to be single, there's nothing wrong with that. Marriage to me is a beautiful thing. To me, it needs to be with the right person to have a successful marriage. And that is written by Melita. But Melita, you want to jump on real quick? You don't have to show your face. You can turn your camera off. BNA Island said, marriage, it just depends on the two people. But yeah, it could be necessary. So, necessary how? Like as far as the contracts part, or to declare your love to the world. Some people are like, I need to get married to let people know that I love you and I care for you. How I jump on? I'm gonna send you a request. She's like, how I jump on? She's so cute. Let me see. Go live. Hey.
Oh God, hi. I don't want to see be on my face. Wait a minute. How you hide? I want my night clothes. Wait.
You can point the phone toward the ceiling. I do that sometimes when I go live and I don't want to show my face.
All right, the ceiling. All right, cool.
There we go. As long as we can hear you.
All right. I was like, wait a minute.
So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts, girly? What are your thoughts?
Let me say this. Like, I love marriage. I think marriage is a beautiful thing. Um, I am married, but I'm separated right now. I don't want to discuss it, but I know what it is about marriage and the hard things and the things that you didn't prepare yourself for and all that other stuff. So I just think that it needs to be with the right person if you want to be married. I feel like marriage is a choice. You know what I mean? It's a choice. You don't have to be married. You don't have to, oh, you better be married by, that's your choice. I do
Yep.
believe in it though. You know what I mean? I mean, everybody's different. I do believe in it because I just feel like it's just something about family, and that's just me.
Mhm.
I love about family. You know what I mean? It goes deeper than just, oh, prove my love. It's family. I work with children, so when I think about children and stuff like that, who they look up to, mom and dad. For me, I'm not here to like, that's just my perspective. Um, just family in general. So I do love marriage. Like I said, it just had to be with the right person. You got to be on the right page. You know what I mean? But if
Mhm.
you want to be single, be single. It's cool too. You know, I mean, but if you're gonna be married for all, to me, the right reasons. You know what I mean? Because marriage is not, to me, it's not a game. Marriage is not something that you just play with. Marriage to me is not something like, oh, I'm married now. Look at that ring. That is for rich and poor, for sickness and health. You gotta be your ride or die with your partner, whether it's good or
Mhm.
bad. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
you can't just be like, oh, something happened to him, or her, whoever, they get sick or whatever. You can't just leave them on the wayside. That's the thing about marriage, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. You know what I mean? It goes deeper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what I find is that, even though common law marriage is not recognized in a lot of states, my parents, they're not married, but they've been together for almost 37 years.
Beautiful.
So when I look at that, and my thing is, I still want to have a marriage because of the contract side of things, being able to make those final decisions when it counts, or being to have those benefits that are not available to common law partnerships in Pennsylvania. Because we're in Pennsylvania, I got to talk about where we're at. And Pennsylvania is not recognized. So um, I would be for the marriage license when it comes to that. But as far as love is concerned, I don't feel that it's necessary to get married out of love, because you could be in love with someone, be with someone for years and years and years, and never have a marriage contract. So, and my mom and dad is proof of that. So that's why I'm like, now my brother, however, he got married. And there is a lot of benefits that come from that because he's in the National Guard. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things she can take care of for him in his absence when he's away overseas. So yes, they married out of love, but also there was a greater thing that was thought of, like, oh, when I need stuff taken care of, I would want my wife to take care of that while I'm gone.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Not my mom, not somebody else. I want my wife to take care of it because she's living in the house with me. She knows what needs to be done. It just would make sense.
got you. I mean, hey, that's your perspective, but I still believe what I believe. So
Yeah,
believe
absolutely. And I love the fact that you
that.
jumped on the night. I appreciate your point of view. And I know that a lot of people will agree with you. Everybody is coming from different walks of life.
Yeah.
So they may feel the same way you feel. They may feel the same way I feel. And
Right.
like I said, I appreciate the fact that you jumped on the night. I'm going to be tuning in to your Miracle Mondays on your YouTube channel, under your name, Melita. And can you pronounce your last name? Because I don't want to like say it wrong.
Oh, it's cool. It's Melita McKeithen.
Melita McKee.
And it's my Miracle Mondays. It's on YouTube. You can tune in. But I just wanted to just to talk about marriage because it is a sensitive topic. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, not everybody had their own right to their own opinion. To me, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. I just feel like that's how people perspective on how they view things. So yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining on tonight to Think Different TV.
Yeah.
Yay! And BNA Island said, too late, we already saw you. So they already saw your beautiful face. But
Oh,
y'all can see more of her beautiful face on her YouTube channel, Melita McKeithen. And she's doing her Miracle Mondays. Please check it out. You post like earlier in the morning, right?
well,
Around what time?
I post around like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and,
5 o'clock in the afternoon?
and with Miracle Monday, it's just what God give me a scripture about like the miracles and what God's miracles can bring into your life. You know what I mean? So that's what my Miracle Monday is about.
Absolutely. So, guys, before you tune in to Think Different TV, which is live every night, every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, head on over to YouTube real quick and get that word at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay?
All right. Thank you, lady.
Thank you so
I
much.
love you, honey. Keep smiling.
Love you too.
All right. Now, how?
And get off. You just push the little X.
Okay.
All right. So we got one point of view. She said that, marriage is a bond that should be shared between people who love each other. And, and she has her point of view. I share a little bit of mine, even though I wasn't supposed to. I'm shutting my mouth. I'm going to bring BNA Island in here. All right.